My name is Caleb Rowan, and for most of my relationship with Marissa Hale, I confuse endurance with love. I kept telling myself that if I stayed patient, if I spoke gently, if I waited just a little longer, things would eventually turn into a relationship I had built in my imagination. The first time I saw her, she was this whirlwind of noisy laughter in a quiet coffee shop, doodling in a notebook covered in bright stickers, and telling me she liked people who didn't take life too seriously. I should have known then she was carefree, and I was already treating her like something fragile. In the beginning, everything felt easy. She'd fall asleep on my shoulder halfway through movies, send soft morning voice notes saying she missed me, wrap her arms around me like she couldn't get close enough. I held those memories like souvenirs, long after they stopped being reality between us. Slowly, so slowly I kept making excuses. Her warmth faded, her text turned short, her tone sharpened. She started making jokes about me in front of her friends, then rolled her eyes when I asked why. Caleb, stop being dramatic. But I wasn't. I just didn't want to admit I was losing her. The night everything became painfully clear. We were at a rooftop bar with her circle of friends. It looked romantic in photos, but the cold wind made the whole place feel hollow. Marissa was restless, tapping her nails, barely acknowledging I was there. Her friend Jonah kept watching us like he could feel the tension vibrating off of her. I reached for her hand. She yanked it away like touching me was embarrassing. What are you doing? I'm trying to hold your hand. She sighed loudly. God, Caleb, don't be clingy. You're making this awkward. Her friends laughed, not because it was funny, but because they didn't know how else to react. I stood there swallowing shame like it was air. Later, outside the bar, I tried again. Marissa, what's going on? You've been distant all night. She stopped walking. The streetlights flickered amber, like the world was pausing for whatever she was about to say. She tilted her head, smirked, and delivered the sentence that sliced through me like clean steel. You're a waste of my time. The words came slow, deliberate, almost amused, like hurting me was entertainment. And in that moment, something inside me didn't break. It stilled. For the first time in months, I felt clarity instead of fear. I looked at her, really looked at her. The impatience in her posture, the boredom in her eyes, the smirk waiting for me to fall apart. I didn't. I breathed out and said calmly, perfect, because I'm done giving you any of it. Her smirk faltered, not gone, just cracked around the edges. What's that supposed to mean? It means you don't value my time, my effort, or me, so you don't get them anymore. She scoffed. Oh, please? Caleb, you're not going anywhere. You never do. But she was wrong. For the first time, I felt the weight of every moment I'd let slide, every subtle insult I'd forgiven, every humiliation I'd swallowed. I realized I had been trading respect for the idea of love. I turned and walked away. Behind me, she called out, Caleb, seriously? You're just leaving? But I didn't respond. Silence was the last thing I was willing to give her. As I walked, I waited for the usual ache, the panic, the urge to apologize, the fear of losing her. None of it came. I just felt lighter. Not healed, not joyful, just lighter. Like a long, suffocating pressure had finally loosened. Because some people don't break you. You break yourself trying to hold on to them. The next morning, I expected to wake up hurting. But instead, I felt quiet. Not the heavy, hollow quiet I'd grown used to. A peaceful quiet, like my mind and heart had finally called a truce. My phone wasn't quiet, though. 17 messages from her. For missed calls. 2 voice notes I didn't play. Her tone shifted from confident to confused to irritated. Are you seriously still mad? You made a scene. Stop acting like a child. We need to talk. I didn't answer. Not to be petty, but because silence had finally become a boundary. Around noon, I went out for coffee. The air smelled like early autumn, crisp leaves and distant with smoke. I sat outside, wrapped my hands around the warm cup, breathed, and realized I didn't feel tethered to her anymore. When I got home, she was standing near the entrance of my building. No smirk this time. Arms crossed, foot tapping. eyes darting around like she couldn't decide how emotional to be. "There you are," she said. "We need to talk." "No," I said. "You want to talk?" "I'm done." She blinked, thrown off. "One argument, and you're ready to ditch everything?" I laughed, not mean, just tired. "That wasn't one argument. Marissa, you left this relationship months ago." She looked offended. "That's not true. You just twist things. You're sensitive." There was again the same label she used every time she hurt me. "You're dramatic. You're clingy. You're sensitive." Always a way to make me doubt myself. "No," I said quietly. "I'm not the victim. I'm just finally being honest." Her posture softened, almost shaky. "Caleb, I didn't mean what I said last night. I was stressed. I'd had drinks. I was upset. But you meant it enough to say it," I replied, "and you enjoyed the way it landed." She opened her mouth to argue, but nothing came out. I stepped past her. She grabbed my arm. "Wait, we can fix this. Just talk to me." I turned slightly. "Talking is what I beg you for. Respect is what I needed. You gave me neither." Her voice cracked just a little. "So that's it? You're really done?" I nodded. "You told me I was a waste of your time, and I finally believe you." She flinched like the air had hit her too hard. But I didn't add anything else. I walked inside without looking back. For the first time in our entire relationship, I chose myself. That afternoon, I took a drive. Just me, my jacket, headphones, and a book I'd been too anxious to finish. I sat by the river, breathing in the quiet, letting it rebuild something inside me that had worn dangerously thin. Healing didn't feel dramatic. It felt like the first deep breath in months. A week later, I blocked her number. Not because I hated her, but because I needed a clean ending. I knew if she reached out again, I'd fall back into explaining, defending, proving myself. And I don't have to prove anything anymore. A few days later, I ran into Jonah, the friend from the rooftop, when I told him what happened. He didn't even look surprised. "I always wondered why you let her talk to you like that." He said quietly, "You're a good guy, Caleb. You deserve someone who actually sees you." Maybe that's what I'd been missing all along. Not attention, not affection, not passion, but being seen. Really seen. One day, I'll find someone who doesn't smirk when she hurts me. Someone who doesn't decide my worth based on her mood. Someone who thinks time with me is a gift, not an inconvenience. Until then, I'm rebuilding. Slowly. Intentionally. Choosing myself the way I should have from the very beginning. Marissa once said I was a waste of her time. But the truth is simple. I was never a waste. I was an investment she never deserved. And walking away was the first moment I finally stopped losing.